What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today I got a fun little head-to-head battle between the Apple Magic Keyboard and the Logitech Combo Touch. Which one is a better overall user experience and which one is a better value? Let's get into it. Magic Keyboard comes in at $299 for the 11-inch model versus the Logitech Combo Touch comes in at $199. They both have trackpads. They both have keyboards that connect magnetically and don't have Bluetooth at all. So they both work really well, super reliable. Both do an excellent job in terms of like typing, basic use and function. They both are excellent. Highly recommend. You can't go wrong with either of them. But let's get into more specifics of what would be better for your usages. Start with the Magic Keyboard from Apple. This was really revolutionary when it dropped, and it just does a really great job. The design is really well thought out, and if you're working on a desk, I can't talk highly enough about how useful and a pleasant experience it is to use this. It's got a full-size QWERTY keyboard with an inverse T arrow setup. The trackpad is close to full size of what you'd be used to on a laptop, and I just really didn't notice much of a difference between using something like this and my MacBook Pro. Good tactile feel of the keys, and it's very accurate. It really didn't miss. In terms of viewing angle, I found it to be enough if you're working on a desk, but it was a bit limited. More on that later. But it was, the thing I liked about it is it could hold any angle you want simply by moving it and releasing. The joint, if you will, of the Magic Keyboard on the back holds it in place very well, and the magnets holding the iPad in place connected to the Magic Keyboard are very strong. So I just found no reliability issues. It always was useful and worked very well for what it can do. Moving over to the Logitech Combo Touch, it's a very different design. It's similar to the Microsoft Surface, where it has a kickstand in the back that you can move around, and that changes the viewing angle of the iPad. In terms of actual keyboard functions, it's less travel than on the Magic Keyboard. Does not feel as good, but does feel good enough. It's just not a full, laptop experience. I would say it's a next tier down, but still very good, very usable. I'll call it a full-size keyboard, although it is a little bit smaller on the Combo Touch than the 11-inch Magic Keyboard, and that's because of all the built-in iOS buttons that are on the top. Those function buttons I actually found to be extremely useful on the Logitech, and a huge plus for me. Things like keyboard brightness, display brightness, play, rewind function button really make this thing very usable and just much faster in my day-to-day workflow. I really liked it. I also like the fact that the trackpad is bigger on the Logitech than it is on the Magic Keyboard. I would say by about a half an inch, and it's a very big difference. Made it much more comfortable to use. But the trackpad was more accurate and more sensitive, I'd call it, on the Magic Keyboard from Apple. I do like the overall execution of the trackpad on the Magic Keyboard, but I like the size of the trackpad on the Logitech. In terms of viewing angle and actual usability, the Logitech really beats the Magic Keyboard because it offers so much more variation and more degrees of angle. I can lay it almost flat and using it in its sketch mode, and that is really nice for drawing. It's also really nice for using it on your lap as a laptop. I found myself when I'm commuting or traveling not enjoying using the Magic Keyboard actually on my lap because the way the weight is dispersed on this thing, it just needed to be held down by my wrists when I'm typing, and then it didn't tilt up high enough to be looking up at me, so seeing the screen was kind of a pain as well. None of those issues on the Logitech Combo Touch because the angle can lay flat enough to look right up at me, and there's no weight distribution. The weight is right in the middle because the screen actually sits on your lap, so I really like that whole design better. Logitech also wins when it comes to protection. The Magic Keyboard really isn't a case in any way. I mean, it does protect the front and back of the iPad, but all of the sides are exposed, and when it came to any type of drops, I found the iPad would jump out, and there was a very high likelihood that you're going to damage your iPad if you're dropping it from any sort of distance. Whereas the Logitech actually is a case. It protects all four sides all the way around with little plastic bumpers, does a really good job with protection, and it does have some space on the front to protect the screen. I also think it would give you some room for, those people who use like paper-like screen protectors, although I hate those. This is the real selling point for the Logitech Combo and the reason why I much prefer it over the Magic Keyboard, and that is the flexibility to quickly and easily magnetically remove the keyboard from the actual tablet. And then this is just a case with a really nice kickstand in it, and it's super flexible, super nice to use, and just makes this a much better day-to-day tool to use your iPad. Because in all honesty, I really didn't like the Magic Keyboard when it came to day-to-day use. When I'm just watching Netflix or content consumption or browsing the internet or reading it as an e-reader, I didn't want to have this keyboard connected, and I couldn't use it as a tablet, so I'd have to just remove it off of the Magic Keyboard completely. And now I have no case or anything, and I can't lay it or set it down or anything. So I just found it to be not very practical when it came to day-to-day use, unless I'm specifically sitting at a desk and typing. Whereas the Logitech, I found it so useful and so practical to have at all times, because if I want to watch a movie, boom, I just disconnect it, set it up, watch a movie. If I'm doing, e-reading, I could just read, scroll. It just feels really, really nice. This canvas, I really like the finish of this thing. And then if I do want to use it as a keyboard, boom, I'm right back in it. It's just a quick magnet, and it's not very thick, it's not very heavy, and it's just a really nice case overall. Very, very well thought out. I give it a very big thumbs up. I recommend it over the Magic Keyboard, not to mention the fact that it's a significant better value at only $199. It's not gonna break your wallet, although it still hurts. $300 for a keyboard is just kind of insane. That's a third of the price of the MacBook Pro, almost half the price of the MacBook Air. iPad Air, you know what I'm saying. It's just not a very good value. You can find them used, but I just really don't like them once I switched over to the Combo Touch. Most importantly though, with both of these is you can use them to scroll down a little bit and hit me with a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It really helps out the algorithm for my 4 watchers out there. It really boosts my channel. I appreciate you guys. I hope I brought you some value. If I did, hit me with a comment below on which one you like better. And stay tuned for a future video. I'm decking out an iPad with must-have accessories, and these are kind of both included in it. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.